Right. So let's just settle into a nice seated, comfortable seated position. Shoulders are aligned with the hips. And imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And just relax into the practice. For some of you, it's very late. Probably the next thing you'll do after this is kind of go to bed. Jay, who's in Australia, who's normally here, had something on this evening, her this afternoon, so she's not here either. And Mary's taking her brother to the airport. So we are minus a few folks tonight. But just try and bring a bit of softness into your seated position, relaxing the scalp, the forehead, the eyes and nose, the cheeks. Relax the back of the head, the back of the neck. Allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down and relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. Noticing the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. Perhaps there's sounds in your environment, just allow them to be there, trying not to follow with the mind. So now try and see what's arising in the mind without judgment or criticism. And just notice the thoughts. Perhaps you can categorize them. Perhaps it's as simple as thinking. Maybe it's anger or jealousy or frustration. Just package all your thoughts up, pop them on a nice white fluffy cloud and just allow them to float away. So all the time you're looking at your mind, try and be objective. Try not to criticize your thoughts. I think sometimes the way we talk to ourselves is kind of shocking. Wouldn't talk to a child in that way, but yet we seem to think it's perfectly okay to talk to ourselves in this way. Bring to mind all the people of your life, the ones you love, the ones you don't love so much and are strangers, and remember they can all change place at any time. They're all equal in their wish to be happy and their wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity for Buddhahood. We think we'll do this practice this evening for all these people of our lives. And think of our precious Hin, who just seems to be suffering so much. And then for James, who mentioned tonight. Imagine there is no negativity that can't be purified, and this purification process is basically, it's a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so we can change it by creating positivity instead. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you've done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. We cannot bear the thought of the future suffering that we ourselves will experience, and we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So we think, I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. and also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. So we're not looking for a higher power to somehow absolve us of our sins or forgive us or something like that. We're just looking at this Buddha Vajrasattva as a doctor who has medicine that we can use to heal ourselves. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, and you can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made a radiant, blissful white light sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And this lotus, although born out of mud, is untainted by that mud, just like our enlightened potential, which is born out of our delusions, but yet untainted by them. And Vajrasattva has a beautiful radiant face with these long eyes shaped like lotus petals. And they're very peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. And he has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents a union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings and the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people maybe you harmed recently and in the past, and maybe in general all beings you have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them because they're going to suffer as a result of the harm they've done to you. So make a strong aspiration to this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. So we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Tida meboa, Satukaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sata Ahompe, Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa, Satukaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sata Ahompe, Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa, Satukaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sata Ahompe, Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa, Satukaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sata Ahompe, Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa, Satukaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum He. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dina Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpayatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dina Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dina Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So imagine now your speech is completely purified, and it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. Only benefit them. And then that includes what you write, what you put on social media, everything you put out there. Be a representation of your speech. So next is the purification of the mind. Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown. and fills your entire being. So just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on a switch, that's that light that comes instantly dispels the darkness. So it's the same. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment and neediness and bitterness and grudges and jealousy, resentment, depression, anxiety, just imagine it's all instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. So just be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified, and think there is no space now in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And so next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So we're working at a more subtle level here. So you imagine Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, fills you completely, and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Dida me boa, Sidokaya me boa, Sipokaya me boa, Anorecta me boa, Sawasidi mimpi yatastawa kamasita me, Sitam Shriam Kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, Sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe, and Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya, Vajrasapa dina patita, Dida me boa, Sidokaya me boa, Sipokaya me boa, Anorecta me boa, Sawasidi mimpi yatastawa kamasita me, Sitam Shriam Kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe and Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe and Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So now I feel you're completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream, and even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and quite crucial step in the purification processes, where we make a decision that we don't want to harm. It's just the first step. Just have a wish, an aspiration to not harm. And then it's kind of everything goes from there, you know. And then you can get more specific. Don't harm with my body, don't want to harm with my mind, don't want to harm with my speech. It just takes you in a different direction, a more positive direction. So first of all, rejoice in your efforts, and then think of something that you would like to keep working on. Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness a little bit. So even if we're only doing it for a tiny, tiny amount of time, but it just helps to seal the practice. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think of everything as being a dependent arising. This occurs because of that. I also think that the way things are appearing to me are not necessarily the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And then think for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to have a very long life and to be able to continue to teach, and for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and for all your own individual teachers. Okay, everybody. Please have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Lots of love. Thank you for hosting. I think there might be 3 of you up there, right? Tonight? Michael, Shayla, and William. Thanks, you guys. Lots of love. Thanks, Kimberly. Okay, I'll see you Monday. Okay, bye-bye. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Stay
you all.
safe.